Hello? We're not back. We're back. I'm sorry. I did just majorly fix this. I apparently skipped over not a full paragraph. I skipped over a ton of things when recording the first time. So this is kind of a major cut. It is now really late. But one of those days, Aspen gets to tell her story, then they can relax. Chapter 7. We read this before. We read all the 6 chapters before. Now we're chapter 7. So, in this town, chastity is very highly regarded. Because of this, when someone's spouse died, they were not allowed to remarry, as they were considered used goods. The only thing they could really do after that was grieve. In this very neighborly town, it was obviously hard to grieve in peace because everyone was always up in your business, trying to make sure everyone in the town knew they really cared about your situation. This wasn't too big of a deal until Ulysses took over. When Ulysses took over, he made a torrent of giant monsters that started killing people at an elevated rate. Suddenly, a bunch of people's spouses were dying. Sure, they died before, but these were people in their 20s who were suddenly thrust into a situation where they could never find love or have sex again. That obviously sucked for them, especially since a lot of widows had grown closer with their shared experience, and some of them were starting to get the hots for each other. Then, this absolute legend named Suzanne discovered the hot springs while avoiding people who were trying to give their condolences. Susie found them absolutely delightful and decided to share them with her fellow mourners. She rushed back into town and declared that her virtue had been restored by the magic hot springs of yonder. She's just taken one dip and suddenly she was virgin again. After that, all the widows were allowed to remarry because they could fix themselves for their new partners. Also, they were now allowed space to grieve away from anyone who wasn't going through the same situation they were. This worked for a while, but eventually a church official came by to check it out and realized it was all bullshit. Asper finished rolling her eyes. That's horrific, was Kayla's takeaway. Agreed, Mara muttered in horror. Good for Suzanne. She found a way to get a lot of people the peace they needed. I'm proud of her. I mean, I know she's probably dead now, but I'm still proud of her, Kate declared. She was a wonderful woman. After spreading fake myth, she met a man from out of town and she moved away. She ended up helping a lot of people around that country. Vasilia continued her legend. That's a surprisingly dark history for hot springs, Torlai considered. Actually, compared to things that happened in some universes, it's very tame, Taryn corrected. What was that fake science thing you were talking about, you something? Kayla didn't seem to know what he was talking about, but Astra certainly did. Taryn, you talked about eugenics. What are eugenics? Kate asked, scowling. Torlai sucked in a breath. Don't worry about it. It's probably better that you don't know. Kate and Taryn begrudgingly agreed, seeing how uncomfortable their friends with the subject. Anyway, Astra pushed on. I'm all comfy and warm on my girlfriend's lap, so I'm going to take a nap. Astra shifted her head so her head was laying on Torlai's breast and continually muttered, Don't let anything kill me in my sleep. I won't, I promise, Torlai replied, as seriously as the others had ever heard her. She pulled Astra closer protectively and glanced around the surrounding area. Don't worry, I don't hear anything that sounds sentient for miles, Kate assured her. Thanks, Kate. I'll have Hunter keep a lookout if any of you want to take a nap, Torlai offered. I actually think I do, Kayla realized, snuggling onto Taryn's shoulder. Taryn laid his head on top of hers in turn. I agree, this is quite relaxing. The others seemed to share this sentiment as they settled down too. Basilia fell asleep almost immediately after laying her head on Torlai's shoulder, and Mara hugged the part of Astra's legs that were sticking out of the water and snuggled into Astra's very comfy thighs. Everyone had settled down except Kate. I don't like sleeping in strange places, she explained when Torlai looked at her. That's fair, I don't like her sleeping in strange places either, Torlai agreed, glancing down at the sleeping angel in her arms. That, too, I don't want them to get hurt, just because I was asleep and couldn't save them in time, Kate growled. If she couldn't keep her friends safe from danger, then what good was she? If you do fall asleep, I'll protect them, Torla insisted. Kate looked up at her. I believe you, it's just easier with help. Torla practically felt her heart explode with joy. Someone actually believed her about her intentions to do something good. Only Esther and Taryn had ever done that. Was this the start of a change? We shouldn't let them stay in the water too long, Kate interjected, stopping Torla's thoughts in their tracks. Oh, right, they're starting to get all wrinkly. If that starts to happen, I'll just move them to my place so they can keep relaxing, Torla thought out loud. Will you get them back in their clothes? Kate asked judgmentally. I'll probably just snap my fingers and make them new ones to sleep in, more comfortable in, Torla explained. Kate nodded. And how will we carry them there? I'll make a portal back to my house and I can hover them through. Okay, Kate agreed, satisfied with that plan. She leaned back to the water and let herself relax, all while still kept her ears open for any signs of danger. Oh. Then we get... Oh, this chapter, chapter 8, is called Those Days Aren't So Bad with Friends. Resolution to the story. Okay, these clothes are more comfy than her old ones, Kate decided, picking up the clothes that she'd previously abandoned. Torla had put them all in white tank tops and sweat shorts of their usual color. She had Astra in her arms and the others hovering around her. Thank you. Now, are you going to carry their clothes, or do you want me to? Torla asked. I can... What the hell, Astra? Kate yelped, having drawn her knife. Torla looked down at her girlfriend and nearly jumped out of her skin. Astra had somehow opened her eyes without otherwise moving her body. Oh, sorry. I heard footsteps and was wondering what was going on, Astra explained sheepishly, cuddling further into Torla. Oh, that's okay, baby, Torla assured her. Astra smiled gratefully at her and slipped out of her arms. Thanks, love. Now, why are we moving? Our fingers were pruning, so we're moving to Torla's house so we can keep napping, Kate deadpanned. Oh, okay, Astra agreed, still tipsy from being half asleep. Torla floated Taryn down into her arms so that she could hold something tangible. Kate continued trying to pick up her clothes and transport when Astra piped up. I can carry those for you. She skipped over to her own clothes and picked up her pouch of holding. From it she pulled 3 bags of holding and a marker. She wrote Kate, Kayla, Vasilia, and Taryn's names on the bag and started stuffing clothes in them. That's not a bad idea, Kate admitted, picking up the bag with her own name on it and stuffing her clothes into it. Just as she was about to move another pile of discarded clothes, she got a call on her modulet. Kate froze as she realized it was Sterling. Hey, Kate, are you okay? Torla asked, concerned. Kate took a deep breath. Yeah, I'm okay, she answered the call. Hey, Sterling, what up? What's up? Not much. Me and Heath just got back from some recon in his world, and I was wondering how you're doing, Sterling explained with a smile. Asper took us to the hot springs, and now we're going back to Torla's house, Kate replied, more coldly than usual. Sterling tilted his head. You okay, Katie? Before Kate could think of an answer, Asper made a soft clicking sound with her tongue. Kate looked over, and Torla whispered, Do you want to invite him over? Kate gave a slight nod in appreciation and turned back to Sterling. Can you join us at Torla's house? Of course, Sterling assured. Can Heath come too? I think he'd like to see Mara. He looked over at Torla, who agreed. She turned back to Sterling again. Yes, Sterling grinned. Awesome. We'll be there in a bit. Then ended the call. Kate turned back to see what all the bags of clothes had been put into Astra's pouch of holding. Kate handed Astra her mudjewut to put with the rest of her stuff, and Astra did so. Why didn't you make bags for Mara and Torlai? Kate asked seriously. I already have bags of this stuff in here, Astra answered, putting the pouch into a pocket in her shorts. Oh, that makes sense, Kate acknowledged. Astra walked over to where Vasilia was floating and gently pulled her out of the air before she could bonk her head into a tree. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Torlai gasped, quickly reeling the other two in. It's fine. Give me Kayla. Kate held out her arms as Torlai lowered Kayla into them. She held Kayla close protectively. Here. Astra sprouted her tail so Mara could lay between that and one of her arms. Torlai whistled, and Hunter opened a portal to just outside her house. Heath and Sterling were already waiting there. Heath scooped up Mara and carried her inside, as the others did the same. Sterling went to kiss Kate on the cheek, but Kate dodged, muttering, "Not right now." She set Kayla down a little too roughly on Torlai's bed and dragged Sterling back out to the living room. Sterling looked even more concerned now. "Kate, what's going on?" Kate took a deep breath to steady herself. "I asked Astra about the scars on the back, and she told me how you really got them." Sterling seemed to shrink in on himself. "Oh," was all he apparently had to say. "Why didn't you tell me?" Kate asked. Sterling seemed to relax as he picked up on the fact that Kate was more sad than angry. "I didn't think you were ready for that kind of thing. I mean, I've just gotten past the basics, so I didn't know. I don't know if it's smart to jump straight into BDSM, and honestly, I'm still not the most comfortable talking about it. So I stretched the truth as to not open that can of worms," Sterling admitted somewhat nervously. "You didn't think I was ready. Do you think I'd get angry and hurt you or Astra?" Kate demanded, starting to get defensive. "No, Sterling sighed. "I don't want you to look at me differently, and I didn't want you to feel pressured to do more than you were willing to do because of my preferences. And things I tend to like are pretty kinky, and you just got comfortable with me being inside you. I want to let you keep going at your own pace and not feel pressured to jump ahead just because you know I'll like it. I'm going to keep going at my own pace, but doesn't mean you can't tell me what you like. Just because I don't want to do it today doesn't mean I don't want to do it ever. It could give us something to work up to. And if I'm being completely honest, recently I found our alone time to be kind of boring. Maybe something kinky could make it a little more interesting," Kate suggested. "You have no idea what that weird means to you," Sterling smirked affectionately. Kate shook her head. "Not a clue." Sterling's smile dropped slightly as he considered an idea. "Okay, how about this? I'll tell you the things I like in bed, and you tell me if you might be into them." "Yeah, that sounds good," Kate agreed, blushing. Meanwhile, in the bedroom, Kayla had woken up and was discussing with Heath, Torlai, and Astra what was going on with Kate and Sterling. "So, he didn't tell her that you'd given him the scars on his back?" Heath recapped. "Yep, that's the gist of it," Astra confirmed. "Huh, reminds me of when me and Mara started dating," Heath smiled fondly. "How did you do that, by the way? Did you have claws back then, too?" Kayla asked, still sounding mostly asleep. Astra shook her head. "No, I have this whip from my... I can't read that. Dominatrix days? It has removable claws at the ends. That's what I used. We started without the claws, and then he demanded I use them, so I did." Kayla picked up her head in interest. "You have a whip?" "I have a whip. We've been working up to that, huh, baby?" Astra asked, turning towards Torlai and kissing her on the jaw. Torlai just went red and hugged Astra closer, burying her face in the fluffy mass of green hair. Astra giggled and turned back to Kayla. "Why, do you want to borrow it?" "Well, I can't say I'm not intrigued," Kayla avoided the question coyly. Her neck got tired as she rested her head on one of her hands. She used the other to pull Taryn's arm tightly around her from behind. "If you do, make sure to tell me so I can wash it properly afterwards," Astra ordered. Kayla nodded, then heard a watch go off. Astra fished it out of the bag pouch and declared, "It's for you, Kayla." Kayla took the watch, and seeing it was from Benny, answered the call. "Hey, you kiddo. Me and Charlie are back. Where you at?" Benny greeted her. "Oh, we're at Torlai's house. We're going to take another nap, I think." "You're gonna take a nap? Good for you, Kayla. I'm always glad to see you taking care of yourself. Do you want me to stay with Benny while you take your nap?" "Oh, if that's okay with you, Benny," Charlie chittered, a little too fast for anyone to completely understand. "Yeah, that's fine with me. What do you say, kid?" Benny affirmed. "You know, I'm all cuddled up and comfy with Tara, and I don't want to get up. So, see you when I get back, Charlie." Kayla yawned. Okay, sounds good. See you then, Charlie exclaimed. See you then, kid. But when you say we, who's all at Mick Fantarella's house? Benny inquired. Well, there's me and Taryn, there's Astra and Torlai over here, there's Vasilia there, there's Heath and Mara over there, and Starling and Kate are working on something out in the living room. Kayla listed, pointing the general directions of everyone. Wow, you're having a whole sleepover. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun. Kayla grinned in a way that only sleep-deprived people grin. Good night, kid. Benny did bid Kayla for farewell. Good night, Benny. Good night, Charlie. Sleep well, Charlie shouted just before the call was hung up. Kayla giggled and settled down on the pillow Torlai had given her. Kate and Sterling walked back in with slightly red faces and huge grin plastered over them. How'd it go? Heath asked, with a knowing look. We talked it out and we're ready for that nap now. Kate seemed a little out of breath. They settled down to go to sleep. Taryn was still hugging Kayla from behind when she fell asleep. Heath laid himself and Mara down when Torlai handed them a pillow. Mara hugged him almost immediately and snuggled aggressively into him. Heath put his arms around her protectively and let himself drift off to sleep. Astra laid a blanket over Vasilia, who was curled up like a cat, despite not being in her weird Jaguar form. Sterling laid down his back, and Kate draped herself over him. Astra made sure that Kate, Vasilia, and Kayla all had their ponytails taken out, so they didn't roll over them weird in their sleep. Then she happily crawled into her girlfriend's lap and used her boobs as a pillow. Don't let anything kill me in my sleep, Astra ordered, as it was their tradition at this point. Torlai leaned her back against the headboard and assured Astra, and anyone listening, I won't let anything hurt you. She glanced around at all the people resting in their bed. Any of you. With that said, Torlai settled down and watched her girlfriend peacefully drift off to sleep. Aww. Yay! That's the end of the one of those days. I just saw there's 2 more things already written when I was trying to find this one. That's a lot of writing. But it's made by, I believe, Emu Strike again. So yay! That's it. That was just the 2 chapters. I might read other ones. Maybe. Probably not. Probably not for a while, actually. But this is cool. Goodbye now.